It was really challenging, but I live for the adrenaline rush. So this is the sort of thing that I would do. For me, it was really special because I'm on a scholarship. I'm sponsored by the Commonwealth Office. So it's a UK government scholarship. So I had a choice to pick between any university in the UK to study management consulting. And Birkbeck is not the only university offering management consulting, but I went through the modules for each program, and I came to Birkbeck because of the consultancy challenge. I was like, that's where I'm going. Yep, I'm going for, because the way it was advertised, it was such that it's so hard, it's almost impossible to do. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to do it.
We were ready to do this challenge and to do the best. And we were really strong from the very beginning. And it was honestly very interesting to be a part of such teams, such strong dynamics. Birkbeck is the best university there is for two reasons. First of all, that it doesn't disturb your work career. You can do that alongside very easily. And secondly, because the students are mature. So it's a great experience, and everyone that studies look at it very professionally, and yeah, so it's great to be around this kind of people who are determined.
For me, the most enjoyable, I would say, is I enjoyed our client relationship. I think it was really beautiful how we worked together with the client. I can confidently say that our project plan, the execution, everything that we did, and the recommendations that we came up with for the client, we employed 50-50 consulting. We didn't work in isolation and then present something or a deliverable to the client. But at any stage of the project, the client was fully aware of what was happening and giving us feedback continuously. So I enjoyed the continuous learning process because we had a fantastic client. Our client was really interested in what was happening. So even when we didn't reach out, he reached out to us. So that was really helpful. And he's a subject, he's an expert matter in organizational change, and especially organizational culture and employee relations. So we really couldn't fool him. He knew exactly what he was looking for, and we had to bring our A game. We had to do research, extra research, and we needed to bring our best.
Yep.
Interesting, like organizational culture, for me, is a very difficult matter because you are trying to impact something that is not tangible. You're talking about people's behaviors and daily routines. Some of the aspects or the elements of the culture are hidden. You don't know their assumptions. You don't know the some of the things that they believe in. So it was really challenging, but that's what made it special.
Just knowing how much you can achieve when you're in a great team. So I really enjoyed that. Also learning from the other team members, because we had a very diverse team from very different areas of the world as well. So it was very interesting. And from the project part of view, the employee appreciation that we got once we started doing the interviews and focus groups. So it was a very rewarding experience.
Apart from the obvious communication skills, not only with the client, but within the team, constant communication with the team and the client to find out what the client really wants, I would say time management was a key one. Especially that we were working virtually. We really needed to manage our time well because we didn't want to fall into a situation where we thought, oh, we're not meeting physically, so let me just take a nap and I'll wake up and work later. We really needed to define the boundaries and the timelines that we were working within. So we needed to manage our time wisely, and just team collaboration. Because we were not seeing each other physically, we really had to learn how to work together. We really had to learn each other's strengths and capitalize on those. And we needed to come out and be vulnerable to each other regarding our weaknesses so that we get help and support from other team members. Yeah, so flexibility also is something that we needed to employ on a daily basis. One of our team members was in Singapore, so the time differences also was a factor that we needed to account for. So that is why we needed to be flexible. Some of our team members were working and some were not working. So those that were not working a full-time job had to cover up sometimes. It was just a matter of supporting one another and just having in mind the end goal.
One of the most important thing is a good client relationship. So truly listening what the client wants, and being honest and realistic of the time frames and of what you can deliver within those time frames. And I think that is the most crucial part of being a good consultant. Being agile and the flexibility is very important, because you never know when you are going to have to change the way you're doing things to make the project better, to work better. And also, quite surprisingly, expect negative feedback and critique and be able to bounce back from that and move on and do your best. I think that would be the three things that I will take.
I was very nervous when I realized we were going to do it virtually. I was like, oh my God, the program that I came here to do is going to be virtual. So I thought that was going to affect my experience in a very huge way. But it was challenging in the sense that, firstly, our issue was organizational culture, which is something that you need to be in that environment in order to observe the people's behaviors. It's about the people's attire, the way people say it. It's about observing those visible things. But obviously, we were not going to be able to do that. So we mostly had to rely on data that we were collecting from the client. That is why we had 4 methods of data collection. We had the strategic documents, and then we had a survey, then we had the leadership interviews, then we had focus groups. We had to have a robust data collection process in order to make up for the fact that we were not there physically. We needed also to engage as many employees as we could to make sure that our data was a true reflection of what the organization was. So the fact that we had a high commitment level from the leadership and a high engagement level, that really made it easy for us to gather all the information that we needed.
For me, it was very interesting that everybody talked about, the virtual working in the context of COVID-19 in a very negative way. But I saw so many positives, not having to travel to places. So you always had more time, you were always more relaxed. When we done interviews and focus groups, especially focus groups in the project, people were in one group from all over the places. And I can't imagine how we would have done it otherwise. And people felt more comfortable doing it because they already had virtual experience.
I absolutely want to continue as a consultant. My desire is to specialize in change management. I'm actually a certified APMG change management practitioner. So that's my passion, and I do want to continue with that. And I would say that the consultancy challenge has actually helped build my confidence, because in my experience, I've done a couple of projects with different clients in different industries, but I've never did a cultural intervention, organizational culture. I've never done, and I've never worked with a non-for-profit organization. So this was cultural, organizational culture in a charity. Yeah. So I really learned a lot, and this has built my confidence, because now I know that even though every client is different, and even though the client's requirements will always be different and specific to their own environment, what you need to do is trust the process, the methodology. As long as you trust the methodology, different things will unfold, but the process needs to be robust, and just keep on identifying things that keep emerging, keep incorporating them into your plan and amend it as you go on. Yeah. So I've really built my confidence. Yeah.
So I started this master's course because I actually wanted to change my careers and to become a consultant. And what really helped is that I know now that I really do want to go along this path, and that this experience is very rewarding. So I think that it's just going to give me more confidence in continuing to become a consultant.